How we living? Welcome back to Super Throwback, to the classic cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years and beyond on the big three, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes. I am your guy, Jay Alonso. With me, of course, is...
David Danger Neff. Danger Neff, what's going on, partner?
What's going on as well?
It is the longest week of my life.
I can tell by the way, by how the opening just went.
I was like, this entire week is one of those that, you know, where you want to quit your 9 to 5? Well, my 9 to 5 turned that...
Don't you threaten me with a good time.
That 9 to 5 turned that into 9 to 10 p.m. a lot of nights.
Very true. And we're getting the show out pretty late. So for that, we apologize. But better late than never, so to speak. And we have a special guest. If you look to your right, you've seen this young lady before in other videos as well as the live stream for the Oscars. This is my girlfriend. This is Chelsea Baker. Chelsea, how are you, darling? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very well. How are you gentlemen this morning?
Couldn't be better. I'm so happy to be here.
I can tell on your face.
We're all happy. We're all happy. And
so I gotta ask, because at this point, I've been working with Jay for a long time now. So the opposite side of that, actually living with him, what is that experience like?
Living with him. You know what? I can say it has its ups and downs, but other than that, he's great at cooking breakfast.
I'm really
wow.
Good. I'm really good at
So from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., he's great.
Yeah, he's great.
From noon and on is like, man. I'm kind of just here.
Yeah.
That's all right.
For the sake of this episode, we're trying to keep it curse less because of what we're covering.
We're going to try to keep this a little lighthearted as much as we can.
Yeah,
obviously.
And I don't know if you just something just to like struggle with like not dropping them all that.
I know.
Man.
Yeah, I'm there with
one
you.
Of those. So I'm trying to edit myself. Like Anyway, so Chelsea, you specifically chose this movie that we're doing today. So I assume you grew up a Disney kid.
Yes. I am a Disney kid, love Disney films, and this is my ultimate favorite movie. I am a Little Mermaid fan.
Were you just as rambunctious as Ariel?
Yes, I am Ariel. Now watching it, yes, I am Ariel.
You want to be where the people are.
Yes.
Part of their world, stuff like that.
Yes, I want to be a part of everybody's world.
I feel like that's me trying to integrate into the Black community here. I want to be where the people are.
You want to see him dancing?
I want to get them to get me.
You can totally redo that song, like Dave just trying to like be where all the black folks is at.
Part of their world.
Part of their world.
Just have a big old wave.
Hey, shut up, white boy.
With some seaweed in his hair, everything.
So we're in this emergence of not really nothing new, but Disney is going back and they're turning all of their classic films into live action, with Dumbo's now out, Lion King's on the way, I'm missing one. Aladdin's on the way. Ooh, I completely forgot about it. But those are on the way. Which ones would you like to see in the future? I do believe Little Mermaid is being worked on right now. So
I kind of want the Little Mermaid as a horror film, though. Like an actual horror film. But there was a trailer that was out there like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was a fan film, and it was like The Little Mermaid, but as a horror film. And I'm like, you know what? I'm down. Why not? I don't care.
And just keep the music in there, and I'm totally with it.
But please, what live action films would you like to be?
Under the sea. That's how you got to do it.
No. See, it can't go
Stab
like
it.
that. Like, no. See, look at the resort to all the violence.
Stab me, cabin.
I actually would like to see. I'm excited about Aladdin. Can't wait to see that, as well as, let's see, Lion King. That's the only two.
Really?
I'm just missing the Lion King and Aladdin and Bambi, because that was the first Disney movie I ever saw. But I feel like I need to see that.
She brought out Bambi.
I brought out Bambi. I need to see Thumper. Come on, you need Thumper.
I don't think like Fox and the Hound.
Yes,
Fox and the Hound. I like to see Sword in the Stone. I know it kind of basically features some of the same things from Jungle Book, but I think that would be so easy to make. but to kind of see the worlds where when Arthur, I guess we'll call him that, turns into the squirrel, and that entire sequence, I think that'd be a lot of fun to see.
Right.
The fish, that entire sequence, I think that'd be a lot of fun to see. And kind of gain the whole idea of who Merlin was, who Archimedes was, according to Merlin. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, here in Las Vegas, we had a CinemaCon recently. I believe it's still going on this week, actually. I believe it is. But there's been early reports of footage that came out of CinemaCon regarding The Lion King. And the first thing was that whatever that was shown at CinemaCon had the same dialogue, practically beat for beat, the Lion King animation movie now in live action form, which is something I was always kind of curious about because I don't necessarily want this new Lion King movie to be beat for beat the original.
Sure,
you know? And so apparently that's where we're headed.
Well, I think one of the because if you remember the way that happened with the Lion King is that you had the Lion King, then you had the Lion King 2, right? Then you had the Lion
2.5.
Yeah, or no, it was 2.
Oh, so about like 2.
Because there was 1.5.
1.5,
which is like the Timon and Pumbaa story.
1 3/4.
Right. But then they remade the Lion King and they added in a song. They've taken that extra song out, which was the Morning Report, which is Zazu's song. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, they took out that song, which is a little interesting because they actually got John Oliver to play Zazu, which is kind of perfect for the type of personality that he is. But so I'm with you there, though. Like, I don't want it beat for beat because I'm not going to get the same emotion. Look, when that came out in '93 and the big scene came out with Mufasa dying in Stampede, that shook a lot of us there.
That shook everybody in this room and everybody across the world. So to take that same notion of Mufasa dying and no longer as a cartoon, as a real lion.
If you don't feel nothing, you don't have.
You have no soul.
Exactly.
You really don't. So I'm with you on that one. As far as you said, you wanted Bambi.
Yes.
You're down for Sword and Stone.
Bambi.
Fox and the Hound for me.
See, but it has to be Bambi from the old time because the new one where they actually show the mom dead, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Oh, yes.
It's about shock factor.
I didn't know anything about
there's
that.
a release where they actually show the mom dead, blood on the ground, shot by the hunter.
Oh, that just
spoiler alert.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm down for live action of that though. I mean,
I have to see it because I need. Because every time I think of Bambi, I always think like when he was like running in the field, like I think he spots his dad just sitting up in the woods and he just runs away.
Right. It was like the only. It was the only buck in the woods. Apparently. It's only him. And then apparently as they grow up, he sired a whole bunch of does because there was another buck that came out. I don't know. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so kudos to Disney for buying up the entire world and kind of just going from there.
Yep. Yeah. Let's switch this up. In the hip hop community, we lost a legend, really, or an up and coming legend that everybody felt. This is a gentleman that was really inspirational to a lot of people, and you could really feel the effect of his passing, really all across all communities, not just my own. And there's some things that I've taken a little offense to with it, but we want to give a small little special shout out. Now, unfortunately, I'm not as big into the hip hop community, but I can recognize a man of great talents, and I could recognize a man that did a lot for the community in itself. Nipsey Hussle,
yes,
passed away.
Nipsey Hussle, L.A., born and raised, at this point a cultural icon.
Yes.
Was taken from us really this time. I'm sorry, tomorrow makes it a week. They just announced his funeral will be at the Staples Center in LA.
I thought it's today.
No, it's on Thursday. It's coming Thursday.
Okay.
His funeral will be at the Staples Center in LA. The only other person to have a funeral at the Staples Center was Michael Jackson.
Right.
What Nipsey Hussle meant to the city of LA, really just around the world, as proven point that you can come from harsh realities as far as a community that's looked down on, gang culture, gun violence culture, all that kind of jumbled up into this one area. He was somebody that proved to the people there you can make it out come back and make a change, you know? And he never shied away from his past. He was always one to extend a helping hand. And unfortunately, the same streets in the community that he was working so diligently, I'm sorry, I'm saying the word wrong, diligently to clean up and make better for the people there, he was taken out by somebody from those same exact streets, somebody that he knew, you know, that got close to him enough to where he took a great brother out.
Yes.
You know, so this loss is felt on the levels of when Tupac and Biggie were taken from us.
Yes.
As far as the impact of who Nipsey Hussle was, what he meant, where he was going. And it was just, a beautiful life cut short by senseless gun violence. So, with that being said, you want to add anything with that, Chelsea?
I just want all of us to keep his spirit alive and his music playing, because that's what matters most. And I also want to just send my condolences to Lauren and his family, because he was just a great man. He needs to be honored that way. I just don't want anybody to forget how special of a person that we have lost.
Yes. So on behalf of Bachelor Classics, Beat Network, every hip hop fan around the world, every Nipsey Hussle fan around the world, we send our love, condolences, prayers to the spirit and soul of Nipsey Hussle, as well as to his family, Lauren London, his children, all of his friends, every hip hop fan who ever picked up a Nipsey Hussle CD. We're with you, and rest in peace, rest in power to Nipsey Hussle. Switching gears one more time, we got a trailer.
Finally.
and we talked about this trailer the other day. I called you, actually, and I seemed a bit more excited about it than you were. But we have the official trailer for Joker.
That's right.
Joaquin Phoenix, standalone Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. Your thoughts?
Actually, I'm going to let you kick this off.
And, really?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Do. Okay.
Yeah, because you're definitely really excited about it. It's not that I'm not excited. Mm-hmm. It's that I have a different take on it. Go ahead.
Okay, so my take on it is like this. It's very much debatable to certain people that Heath Ledger is, without doubt, the best Joker we've ever had. Now, for other people, they'll say Jack Nicholson will be that one. Other people, they'll say
Mark Hamill
or Cesar Romero. What this trailer did to me was it played out like a movie within a movie. We're talking about watching him as Arthur Fleck kind of walk with a weird walk and be socially awkward and, you know, constantly getting picked on and beat up and whatnot. And which I found very interesting, because as the trailer progresses, he goes from, you know, being the beaten to now being the one that's doing the beating.
Right.
And I love how the trailer kind of transitions from him being this poor, tortured soul to now this psychotic individual with a great swag to him. And that kind of just changes amongst the trailer, like the way he walks, the way he talks. So by the time we get that quick glimpse of De Niro and whatever that the King of Comedy reference is going to be, you know, by the time he makes his debut as the Joker, we've seen him kind of go through the mud. So I'm kind of off about is that, well, is this going to be a movie that we're sitting there, we're rooting for the bad guy, or we're going to accept it as a tragedy?
That's a great point. Chelsea, what do you have to add to that?
To be very honest, I'm really not at all excited about this movie.
Really?
No.
Go ahead.
But I've had, I love Heath's Joker, and then I also like the Joker that played in Gotham.
Okay.
Can't think of his name right now.
Sure.
But he did play Ian in Shameless.
Right.
So I liked him as the Joker. I wasn't really taken on the trailer. I'll watch it, of course, because I'll see any movie. But I mean, I'm just not excited about it at all.
Well, that's 1-1.
All right. So my take on this is this, and it's just going to be kind of a take it or leave it on this. All right. So I watched this a couple of times. Right. It wasn't like I watched it one time and then I was like, oh, that's my opinion of it. And I know that you watched it a couple times too, and I did like it the second time more than the first time. But I'm kind of I'm one of those guys that's more of a realist when it comes to this. And here's the thing. Joker in himself is celebrated because of how villainous he is.
Right.
Like it's a little hilarious. In the animated series, for example, one of the first thing that he ever does is literally ride a nuclear warhead into a Gotham party because he is absolutely insane,
right.
which is great.
Is cool.
It's great. Which is also the exact reason why I don't want an origin story for him.
Right.
Because an origin story basically says, and I know everybody's going to say, well, everybody has different origin stories. We had the gangster version with Jack Nicholson. Fine. We had the other version where we had the Killing Joke version, which a lot of people like to throw that out a lot as a great origin story. And I disagree. Mm-hmm. Because because a couple things happen. For those of you who don't know, the Killing Joke was a comic that came out from Alan Moore. Alan Moore is a brilliant comic book artist and a brilliant storyteller, and he doesn't even like the Killing Joke, even though he wrote it. Like, he thought this was going to be more impactful in the way that people kind of characterize it. And the entire point of the Killing Joke is that Batman and the Joker are way too similar to compare. But a lot of things happen in the Killing Joke that are absolutely irreprehensible. For his treatment of Barbara Gordon, which, this being a kid's show, I'm not going to get into, to the point where he finally snapped. Now, the entire point of it was that he was a failed comedian and struggling with his wife and kids, or with his wife, his pregnant wife, right. While trying to make a little extra dough as a small-time criminal. Things go bad, his wife winds up dying, and that's what causes him to snap.
Right.
Nothing of that happened in this trailer, which is why I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't think you guys recognize that this is not the Killing Joke. This is completely different. So here's why I have a problem more than anything with this. One of the key things that they showed in the trailer is that he's jotting down in a notebook. Do you know what it said?
I don't remember vividly. I know something about don't.
Okay. It literally says the worst part about having mental illness is people expect you to behave as if you don't.
Oh, really?
So now it kind of gets a feel that mental illness leads to villainy.
Right.
Which is where the biggest issue that I have with it. Because mental illness, as we've known moving forward, has very different outtakes, and people reach out and seek treatment. One of the first things we see is that do you have somebody that you can talk to?
Right.
So, but not only that, but he also has like what kind of seems like an Oedipus feel with his mother a little bit, which again is fine if you're doing that, but at the same time it can be a little weird. You want to know what this movie reminded me more than anything of? Did you ever watch The King of Comedies?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that too. And then with the King comedy reference, especially with De Niro. But I also got a good hint of Falling Down.
Sure, falling down is very good because the idea of it is based upon another Batman comic called the One Bad Day. Right. Where the idea, and that was kind of the whole point of Heath Ledger's Joker. The entire point of it is that everybody can have one bad day for you to completely snap and become the villain that you've always set out to be. There's even a line in the movie that you either die a hero or
live longer to see something come together.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of the entire point of Heath Ledger's Joker. Except he was proven wrong, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But really hitting on that King of Comedies. This is a homicidal maniac who believes that his big break is going to come on a talk show. By the way, that homicidal maniac was played by Robert De Niro. Now he's playing the talk show host, which again is a little interesting. But there's a shot for shot right at the end of this where the curtains open and you see him swaggingly walking out. That is shot for shot.
I love
King
that.
of Comedies.
I love that.
Now, everybody's going to talk about what could wind up happening from there, which could obviously turn into torture. But the thing is, the one thing I really want to hit, it's not that I'm not excited about this. It's that they're playing a dangerous card when immediately you relate to mental illness with villainy. It's the same. It's the same kind of.
You can see the backlash,
right? Oh yeah. Not only that, but it was the same thing with the movie Split. I love the movie Split, but once again, now all of a sudden, because I have this condition generated another personality for me to become a maniac, and that's a little bit of a problem to kind of portray, because now what happens in real life is we're going to see these people, we're going to meet these people, and they're going to say, I have a mental illness. And immediately our point of reference goes to the Joker and whatever he's about to do there. So again, it's not that I'm not excited. It's that they really need to be careful with where this is kind of going.
So this kind of lands in a 1-to-1 to 1.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like again, there's a lot of good. Look, Joaquin looks like he's going to knock it out the park. That's pretty clear.
I don't think there's a better choice for Joker outside of Heath Ledger than Joaquin Phoenix.
Probably not. You know, I think that's incredibly fair.
He has that
sense of insanity that it looks like he could just snap at any moment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes. So that being said, like, again, I'm excited. Let's see where this goes. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do with what we have to cover. Let's get into 2-minute drill.
So 2-minute drill, which is
it's going to be a wipeout.
Nobody care. Anyway,
hey, I'm just saying, like, there's a new social media challenge. Real quick, you are aware of the social media challenge for March? What happened?
As far as
Los didn't tell you. You really should listen to the last episode of The Noise then.
Oh, I'm mentioned on there.
Oh yes. Los is basically taking the L for you.
He ain't chicken.
He's going to, because I've already bought all the hot sauces. They're sitting in my garage right now.
Oh, we need to speak because I did not know this actually.
Okay. Oh. You need to speak with him then.
Okay, no problem. Well, 2-minute drill.
So real quick, what's the social media challenge for this month?
Well, we didn't announce it last show. Oh, we didn't.
We did announce it, but just kind of give a refresher to our viewers.
The winner of the loser of the social media challenge this month has to wear. You guys are familiar with the "He's Mine, She's Mine" shirts. Okay, so what we're gonna do is one of us, hopefully Dave, will be wearing a "He's Mine" shirt, and we're gonna be walking around various places and getting pictures with unsuspecting men.
Or women, just to make it a little bit more funny.
Yeah. Or dogs or animals or.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
but okay.
Random things, random things. But it's all about interacting with the public.
Mannequins.
Yes.
Mannequins.
There you go. Mannequins. There you go.
He's mine.
All right. So now that we know, do you have the 2-minute drill clock ready to go?
I got it ready to go. 2-minute drill starts now. All right. So how old is Ariel?
16.
Okay.
Name 3 of Ariel's sisters. Dun 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 dun.
Cassandra.
Nope.
Betty. And Phyllis.
All right. It's Aquata, Atina, Andrina, Arista, Adela, and Alana. And the final youngest sister is Ariel.
A lot of A's there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's all based upon the C's, actually.
Oh.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, they totally did that.
That's
you
awesome.
live on this planet, bro.
I sure do. What does the seagull do to see if Prince Eric is breathing?
He listens to his foot for a heartbeat.
Yes.
All right. What is Sebastian's full name? Do you got it? I'll let you take the point for him. No? Horacio, Theolonus, Ignatus, Crustaceus, Sebastian.
I was going to say Sebastian Andadasi.
Nope.
Yep. Okay. All right. So The Little Mermaid has how many sequels?
Ooh. Should just be the one.
Wait, let me verify that one.
I could be wrong.
There's officially one direct-to-video sequel and one direct-to-video prequel.
Okay, so 2. I mean, yeah, 2. We'll call it 2. That's fine.
2. All
right. What is the name of the kingdom?
Triton.
Nope. I love that you're this mad. Take it.
Atlantica?
Yes, I'll let you take the points since she's yours. Your girl. Sorry, you're your own woman. Let me make sure.
Yes.
You do not belong to anybody. Whatever you decide to do is yours, but that's going to be his point. How about that?
Cool beans.
Okay, so
how about this? What's Scuttle's list of items? What are they called?
I only know one of them, but it's technically we don't know if she well, apparently she had to get it from Scuttle because she had those collections, but I just know a thingamabob, and they're actually corkscrews.
So you have the fork, which is a dingle hopper.
Dingle hopper, yeah.
You have the corn pipe, which is a banded bulbous snarfblat.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are the only two that I know. I think the thingamabobber came on.
Is the corkscrew when she was singing, "You want thingamabobs? I got 20." And she opens up the case.
That's fair.
So this is gonna be a Chelsea Dave episode. I'll
tell you what. I'll give you the half point because it wasn't even you.
I'm just gonna play the background. Like, well, I'm here.
All right. So in case you don't know what movie we're talking about, we're taking this back, super throwback, 1989 with The Little Mermaid.
Original release date, November 17th, 1989. Currently 29 years old. Turns 30 this year.
That's right.
Like me.
Like you. Next month you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Dirty 30.
Shares opening weekend with All Dogs Go to Heaven, Harlem Nights, Prancer, and Steel Magnolias.
That's a really, really tough weekend.
I don't know what Prancer is, but I know
Steel Magnolias is what is magnificent.
Yes.
But All Dogs Go to Heaven, the first one.
But Little Mermaid has that much more of an impact. The first All Dogs Go to Heaven, I love.
Yes.
But Little Mermaid is just so
Harlem
impactful.
Nights.
So we caught that as a super throwback.
Yes, we did. Production budget $40 million with a box office total of $211.3 million.
And I promise you that's only grown into the billions at this point.
At this point, just for off rep alone.
Exactly.
So currently sitting at a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's get into some real talk here. So Chelsea, you did choose this movie as a super throwback for this week. We appreciate the idea.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So obviously this is your favorite movie. Fill us in. What makes The Little Mermaid your favorite movie?
Okay, so the reason why this is my favorite movie, number one is because I always had a thing for mermaids. After Ariel, of course. I love the water. And you can just sing, just like all Disney movies, it's the songs. Like, that's anything that you hear regarding The Little Mermaid, anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good songs in this, without Under the Sea. Yeah, sure. Under the Sea is great. Kiss the Girl is one that I think really stands out for me. One of the things with this movie and why it's so impressive is, keep in mind, most of these Disney classics that came out, they were from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So it kind of felt like there was like this, I don't want to say a dry spell, but we didn't really get that impactful Disney movie until really, once again, Little Mermaid. And it just like, it basically spiced everything back up. It was almost like its own little revival because of it. And that's not to take away anything from Disney movies that came out in between there. It was just when The Little Mermaid dropped, that's when everything else with Disney that we all love came out. You're talking Lion King and came out. You're talking Beauty and the Beast that actually was nominated for Best Picture afterwards.
Aladdin would come the following year.
1994, that's right. So all of a sudden it was like this huge revival of Disney that happened, and it's kind of all thanks to Little Mermaid a little bit. This movie kicks off. You know, you have the ship that's kind of drawing in, and you have Prince Eric's what is coming up to be his birthday. That's coming up. How old was Eric? Did they ever mention?
I don't
believe they specified.
No.
Yeah, I remember they specified Ariel, but just
somewhere
really
between
him.
18 to 35. We'll call it that because Disney's weird with ages.
Yeah, which is so odd. I'd never quite, even watching the movie today, I was like,
just like with
they
Pocahontas
never quite
and John
specified how old he actually was.
Right. But he has his caretaker that's there, and it's very clear that he's a prince, and this is going to be his kingdom. We don't know anything about the parents, which is something that's very clear that they do all the time in Disney movies later on, where the parents the parents have an importance, but not so much any longer. But this movie kicks off. You have the ship that comes in, and everybody's kind of happy doing their work. Very similar to how Ice Age would later open up, where everybody's kind of doing the work before you kind of get the point of the little boy that kind of runs off. And we then cut down to the kingdom of Atlantica. And it is beautiful. It is one of the prettiest drawn kingdoms that's out there. And what's going on is that there's this huge concert that's supposed to basically happen. We have King Triton that comes in. How many dolphins do you have, by the way? Let me throw that out.
When he came in, 2.
Nope, 3. He definitely had 3.
No, Sebastian had 2. He had
Sebastian
3.
Had the 2.
Okay,
that's correct.
That's why I keep thinking.
So,
oh wait, go ahead.
So we get King Triton that comes in and he lights the chandelier with this magical, powerful Triton, or trident. Sorry, King Triton comes in with his magical, powerful trident. For those of you who are Aquaman fans,
or you like gum,
you know,
he really is a gum.
And then we get the introduction to Sebastian, and Sebastian's very much like this Jamaican composer, which is really interesting for that to go. So, because I want to talk about Sebastian because this is very clearly in the French region for sure, because you could kind of tell with like, but it's a little weird also because I don't know France with that many swamps that would later kind of play a part and kiss the girl.
Now with Sebastian, before and after Under the Sea, hearing him talk now as an adult, hearing him talk, I'm just like, where is he from? Only because he has this West Indian yet a Jamaican dialect. I can't quite put my finger on, but whoever's playing that part can't really seem to hold the accent throughout the movie.
Well, it's not an easy accent, you know.
Well, you know.
Bagwan Brendan Alonso.
Let's not
be your spirit animal.
That wasn't too bad. The first was kind of off, but hey, you know, whatever. Okay.
Let's see your best impression then.
Wagwan baby. What's our Guan love? Well, you know, it's simple. You know what I'm saying?
Better than
you go to any kind of family reunion.
I pictured you immediately 4'11" and about 130 pounds with like 2 teeth there.
Super long dress.
Wait, I have a quick question for you guys. Do you guys know what relation Ursula was to King Trident or Ariel?
So, for sure, she was a sea witch. I don't think she was the queen, though. I think she was. I don't want to say like the. Okay, in every kingdom, you know, during that time, you had kind of like this sorceress type that would help out the kingdom in terms of like forecasting stuff and whatnot. I thought that was her role.
She is a sea witch, but she's also King Triton's sister.
So
that's basically Ariel's aunt.
Huh. Yeah, that's why. That's what I was thinking.
Was that said in like the second one?
She's basically how they, because I wanted to know more background about Ursa a little bit, so I kind of looked into it. But it actually says that Disney drawn her to actually be King Trident's sister.
Wow,
and that's Ariel's aunt. That's interesting
because she's not even an octopus.
But that's why I believe how she could actually take over the Triton, because I think it has to be royal blood.
That's interesting. Yeah, because Ariel does wind up wielding the Triton at one point. Mm-hmm. How many legs does Ursula have?
6.
Yes.
6 because they couldn't draw it.
Yes.
Because of the animation.
That's back correct.
Then. You got it right.
Good job.
She doesn't have 8.
So can we talk about the music real quick? Because
of course, yeah.
When Ariel rescues Eric, she immediately goes into song, right?
Of course, yeah.
Now, this is like classic Disney at this point. They're saying almost anything can trigger a song.
So here's a scene. Jay's passed out on the beach.
Yes.
All right. From too much sun. All right. Chelsea comes in, and to wake him up, she decides to belt out this song, like in his face, by the way, and she's hitting, and you're hitting an octave that is not supposed to be hit in somebody's face. I don't know. I kind of like that.
It's like, okay,
she's like part of your world, you know.
And then
just
jumps
like
into the ocean.
Yeah, that wasn't weird at all.
Bark, bark, bark.
It wasn't weird at all. But I love how back in the day, you know, Disney had this notion of almost anything can trigger an actual song, right? So,
sure, yeah.
So when,
but that's kind of the magic of Disney, also.
Yeah, there's also like this corn.
Come on, like when they remade Lion King again, the Morning Report. He is literally only talking about like what's going on around the kingdom.
This morning,
but he does it in song and dance. I wish they would do that more often at work. You know,
really?
why is his account so bad? Why should I pay my bill? You know,
that would be cool for like the first week
because you weren't on time with your payments.
You knew what you were
so
signing
when you got it. The cash now.
Yeah,
you knew what you were signing when you got it. You don't know credit very well, but but. That's only cool for like a week. And they're like, just shut up! Shut up what you're saying! But anyway, but even under the sea, as Sebastian is kind of telling like Ariel like how good you got it down here, and you can just tell like it's kind of just building its way up.
Right.
Like,
what I want to know is where does that background music kind of like start? It
kind of just kicks up out of nowhere. Yeah.
And I like it. I like it because they make these jokes now and like later movies. They're like where's this music coming from? You know, and also it just kind of turns to song and dance. And it's funny because now in even TV shows, one of the most famous ones is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They totally go through an entire episode as a full-blown musical,
yeah.
You know, to kind of tell the story a little bit. So it's fun. It's a little bit fun. But real quick to kind of jump back a little bit, the concert's happening and it's supposed to be Ariel's big role, and she's not there. So you come to find out that she's once again
gone to the surface,
going to the surface, which is kind of a big issue. As everybody knows, you're not supposed to go to the surface because you could be spotted, right? What I liked about this, and this, he may easily be my that guy and that fool award. Because she decides to explore an abandoned ship to find what would later turn out to just be a fork. And they get her and her best friend Flounder gets chased by this huge shark that like comes out of nowhere, and he fits into a hole that he really should not have been able to do so.
And he's really chomping that Flounder as well. He's
like, I breakfast is on the table. You know, does that smell like bacon to me?
Which is, I found that so crazy because now looking back at the movie, Flounder, he has a very much like a childlike face. So you can only assume Flounder's got to be about.
He's 10.
12, 11, between 10 and 12.
He's there. He's 10, 12, you know, that's about it.
So it's kind of unrealistic to see like a 16-year-old hanging out with this little kid.
I don't know. You know, all of her, she was the youngest sister, if you think about it. Right. So she wouldn't necessarily hang out with all her older sisters. And it wasn't like she had like this great relationship with them in the first place. So it may just be that, and keep in mind, she's sheltered a lot because of King Triton's like control. So it could be that this 10, 12-year-old may be her true best friend and really feels that way.
Would you hang with Flounder?
Yeah, Flounder is cool. I mean, he may not have some of the courage that Ariel has half the time, but I mean, at least she has
he's down to ride.
He's down to ride. He's
right.
Ride or die. Even if he's scared, like even when he was scared, he was like, no, I'm good. But
I'm gonna go though.
So they meet up with Scuttle, and Scuttle is easily my that guy and that fool award, at the same time. Mainly because what I love so much about Scuttle is that Scuttle is so certain of his intelligence. He's so certain of what he knows. And he goes and Ariel shows a whole bunch of items that are there. And these items basically is the list. You got the fork, which is a dingle hopper. You get the corn pipe, which is the banded bulbless snarf plat. And he's going through and the one joke I really like that he does there is that he takes this corn pipe and he goes, and what you do is you make fine music with this. And he goes and he blows as hard as he can, and there's still sand and seaweed in there. And he goes, oh, I don't know, maybe you can make like a nice little planter out of it or something. Like he's just like it's like, so you don't know what this item actually is. You're just naming it to name it, which is a lot of fun. But the mention of music triggers Ariel to go back down. King Triton and her kind of get into this argument, because she's kind of a little bit of an embarrassment, obviously. And she winds up sneaking away to this little cave that is kind of cool, to be honest. Like there's like hourglasses, there's like stuff that obviously falls off of ships, into the sea, where she kind of like just starts like collecting all this. And it probably comes, in my opinion, the best song in this movie, which is Part of Your World.
Part of your world.
But I mean, it's great. It's a beautiful song, to kind of understand, somebody that is sheltered, because A, we already know she's royalty.
Right.
So she's not going to have a lot of friends. B, she's adventurous and rambunctious in a lot of ways. So for her to really want to push that is great. But then we get the appearance of Ursula, and Ursula is...
She's already plotting.
Man.
She's already plotting on it.
But Ursula is such a good villain.
She is.
She's so good because she's thinking all of this out throughout this, and she's like, all I need is just that one little chance for me to get so. Now obviously she gets a little out there with her dreams and whatnot. What winds up happening is obviously we see the ship. That happens. A storm is coming through. It's Prince Eric's birthday. Max, who's Eric's sheepdog, which is very important for my family because like their first dog was a sheepdog and they loved that dog. It was before I was born, so for them to kind of see Max kind of like brought up really cool, cute little feelings for them all the time.
I can tell you right now, the first time seeing a sheepdog ever was Little Mermaid, and then I saw one in real life. I'm like, oh, they really exist. Oh my god, I never knew that.
Chelsea.
I never knew that.
She's like, oh. How did you not know a sheepdog exists?
I'm telling you, it was the Little Mermaid and then Dumb and Dumber. I'm like, oh, they really exist. I didn't know that.
And I have to kind of give it to what's his name? I have to kind of give it to Grimsby. Grimsby is the steward that's supposed to be with Prince Eric and whatnot, because he wants to surprise Eric, and he straight up brings on this rock that looks like Eric, and he's like, "Thank you, I had a commission of myself and whatnot." And it's like looking at it, saying it looks so creepy, like he's just like standing all regally, like he's just this huge. I don't know, like he's some sort of hero that fought in the medieval times, but clearly they're ships, so you wouldn't wear armor like that at all anymore. I don't know.
So
that was weird.
Ursula makes this deal with Ariel,
right,
to transform her into a human,
right? So
just for 3 days,
right? So we skip ahead just a little bit. The ship goes down. Ariel saves Eric and
with song,
right? With song. Saves Eric. The statue winds up in that same cove, and that's when oh,
that's right, because Triton sees it and destroys it.
Right, because and that was honestly probably the scariest part of this entire movie, where you see like because they really did a good job of panning like anger and itself. They use that in terms of what they call colorization. Anger is usually associated with the color red and black, so what they did was they completely panned over the look of Triton, saying, if this is a lesson that you won't learn, then so be it. And he just whew.
The way he emerged out of that darkness and just into the light, you could see the fire in his eyes. Like he was so upset.
Yes, absolutely. But then what I loved immediately afterwards is after he was done destroying everything, you could see the buyer's remorse immediately afterward. Yes. He's just like,
I shouldn't have did that.
He's like, okay, things got a little crazy around here.
Things got a little heavy.
It's like having that first fight with your girlfriend, and things just get a little bit crazy. It pushes you into a bathtub or whatever.
I'm just gonna head outside for a second. Think about this whole ordeal. Going past that, so now we're at the deal with Ariel is obviously upset at her father, and then I also like that scene as well because before we get to the Ursula deal, that it definitely shows that Triton, while he means well, as you know, the father and king, he himself have had experiences with the humans up top to have such a
negative notion.
a negative notion on it
it's a prejudice if you think about it. Like it's a pretty heavy prejudice. And I'm glad that the Little Mermaid kind of touched on this, where it was like you can't just hate somebody for being different, and because even during this argument, he's all like, he's a human, you're a mermaid, and just kind of going back and forth, and clearly like the fact that he is a human is a problem with me, and that's that. Like there's nothing that's going to basically change that. Which is kind of why I really like King Triton as well, because his character growth at the end of this film, which is an hour 40 minutes, for him to hit where it eventually goes, is actually really important.
He's one I feel like with the most conflict.
Yes, he is. The deal with Ursula, and probably my personal favorite song, which is "Poor Unfortunate Souls." Kind of going
like a band.
It is. I mean, you're kind of seeing the idea. You want to know what I love so much about Ursula? She's evil. She knows it, and she does not hide it at all in this movie. Like even presenting this to Ariel, she straight up says, "Yeah, sure." She kind of sugarcoats a little bit. But she says, those of you who cannot do the deal, those of you who cannot perform the function, cannot perform the deal, I get to take what is yours. This is the agreement that we have. You use my witchcraft and my wizardry to get exactly what you desire. And if you fail to hit upon your bargain, I get to take it. And it's so blatantly evil, but you kind of have to respect it because she's giving you the chance to back out of the deal.
Oh, she's a hustler.
Ariel could have straight up said, "No, I'm not comfortable with this.
I'm good."
I'll do it my way.
And even though Ursula probably would have been really angry, I'm pretty sure she would have let her swim out, like no problem.
Yeah, going back on that deal now. First of all, how many people do we know actually looks like Ursula?
Plenty.
I know.
Hold on. Plenty. It's called the white girl manager haircut.
Like,
that's what we call.
The bowl cut. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But she creates this opportunity for Ariel. But like you said, she is presenting it in a way where you can back out, but for whatever reason, she knows you're not going to. So I'm gonna keep on sweetening this deal for you. Because when you're going to give into this, you're not going to back out.
Right.
And that was her plan from jump.
Right.
The most vulnerable, the most rambunctious. I'm going to go for that particular daughter because I know I can get her to do what I want.
Right, exactly. I mean, keep in mind, she had the opportunity to go after any of the other 6 daughters, if you think about this, and decided to go after the one that was most vulnerable. Yes, that predator-type behavior is evil, but it's also really good storytelling.
I also think she only went after her because she was next in line for the throne.
How?
Because it doesn't she take the throne
like later on, which is
later on.
But if you think about like royalty succession, like it should have gone to the older child.
It should have, but I just believe it's something based off of Ariel's mom, which we don't really know anything about.
Right.
Which could be why
there's a lot of
Triton is the way he is.
Right. There's a lot of fan theories out there, obviously.
So if Eric kisses her, she will remain a human permanently.
Correct. And she loses her voice in this process. Again, really great animation, especially when it comes to actually stealing the voice. The idea of 2 spiritual hands coming in and grabbing the voice and song out of you, just kind of do so. The one thing that kind of drove me a little nuts about Eric was that was the minute he sees her, he's like, oh, you can't talk. No, it can't be you. It's like I remember that voice. Like that voice in itself is what sold me. You can't talk. It can't be you.
I remember the voice. I don't remember your face, even though I was looking at you. For
right. I had a good look at you. I know you had red hair,
like,
which
you
looks like you.
And my dog's going crazy like it was before.
Right.
But, you got a voice, so.
Now, here's what I love about this movie. So, it later goes on into this whole kind of like spiel where they're kind of doing... First of all, they actually show chemistry between Eric and Ariel actually building up. Thank you. That's what people want in a romantic connection. They're building up. They're doing things around the kingdom. They're having a jolly good old time. But the idea of having the kiss is so important in this. And again, could seem a little creepy, but we already know we know why the intention is there. Obviously, it's to basically save her life in that case. And you get the Kiss the Girl song, which is great. And the one part I love about the song is that like Scuttle is the one that like he is so certain that this is his mating call, and his mating call is all like wah 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 wah, just like it's so off key and disturbing to hear that it stuns me. Like,
so the next part for me makes, and forgive me, is gonna make Ursula possible by that chick and my that fool. And the reason why is this: when she now sees Ariel's getting mighty close to making this thing actually happen.
Yeah,
she comes from the surface, this disguised as this beautiful young woman with the voice of Ariel.
Right.
So manipulative.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Good story writing.
You're foul for that. You're out of line for that. It's so good.
But of course, he fell in love with the voice. He didn't fall in love with the look. So of course, the voice comes out. He's all certain. Well, of course, falls under her spell basically
to make him forget about her.
Right, which comes into play into the seashell, and the wedding happens. And this wedding is taking place on a boat, heading its way out. You would think after a shipwreck they wouldn't do this on a boat, but that's fine. They don't
think kids are gonna catch on to that.
And let me give credit to Scuttle because he's getting close to that guy award. He knows how to round them up. He's like, I gotta get dim boys, and we're gonna go. And he goes with his normal speaking voice at this point, and rounds up like all these dolphins, these seals, all these fishes, these birds, all coming in, and they are pelting her. The best part I love about this, the guests don't care. They're like, oh, it's not me. I'm not the one getting trashed right now. Anybody got this on video? Because this bride is getting messed up.
Just keep turning your nose about her.
Right. They're just like, oh, this is awkward. I mean, I know she's getting ready to become the future queen, but this is kind of enjoyable right now.
Dude, this sucks.
So the shell breaks. The voice goes back to Ariel, and this is what I love most about this. They actually succeed. They succeed in not only breaking the spell and Eric recognizing that he is in love with Ariel, but it was until the sun sets on the third day, which is the whole point of the spell, is when she turns back into the mermaid, right? And the contract comes into place once again as Ursula kidnaps Ariel because, hey, this is her thing now, and is getting ready to transform her into this. And this is another really great moment for me. They show how powerful her contracts are. And it's one of those things where it's like, when you get into the spirituality and demonology and whatever, if you start playing Dungeons and Dragons, kids, you'll understand the importance of contracts in it. And it shows that nothing, regardless, breaks the bind of the contract. Not the power of the trident, which, by the way, can control the power of the sea. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's business. Doesn't matter. She's like, nope, my contract is stronger than yours. Like no problem. Your magic has nothing on it. Wind up switching. King Triton takes the L instead, and becomes one of those. I don't know what they are. Like
basically soulless vampire.
Like soulless slugs, mermaids. Yeah. I liked how he still had the little mustache, like you.
Yes,
you can tell it's King Triton. You can't tell any of those other mermaids from the other, but you know that one is King Triton because he's got that Yosemite Sam, mustache going on.
Look at he has a long white beard that just kind of floats.
She's like, my spell will work, but you're still keeping that mustache.
No, you're weak, but a mustache it has to stay.
So another thing I really like, Prince Eric actually realizing that he's in love, fights for Ariel, jumps into the ocean, is somehow strong enough to throw a spear at Ursula from a good distance away. A harpoon, excuse me. Yes, thank you. A harpoon.
There's a huge difference between the two.
Please tell me. Please tell me, Weapon Master Alonzo.
Well,
Kimosabi.
A spear can only travel so far. A harpoon, which I thought only existed in Atlantica, you launch it and then,
How did you think they only... Did you ever see Jaws?
I did, but I didn't know it was called a harpoon at the time.
Yeah, whales and sharks, I believe.
Yeah.
Like Free Willy, if you saw those, you saw
Free Willy?
Actually, you know what? I thought what a harpoon was what we consider what a Triton is, basically, in these movies. Like, oh, that's a harpoon, though.
Oh, do you like comb your hair with it? Like a thingamabob?
You throw it. It's one of those good for everyday situations.
Twirl it up.
Twirl it up.
Brush the beard.
Got my Jerry curl going on. Now I throw it.
Like,
just like that.
That's what I expect you to do with a harpoon.
So Eric jumps in. Throws a harpoon. Harpoon doesn't hit on the spot. Ursula gets mad and turns into a giant form of herself, which is all sorts of scary in itself. That is scary. Yeah, when you see it, and especially because it's so 20,000 leagues under the sea from Jules Verne, like you're seeing the huge tentacle come up, and it's like, oh, that's not okay. Like I don't want to mess with that, like whatsoever.
I remember being a kid, and when she makes that transition, I'm like, oh, this is eerie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is really scary. That's great artwork, though.
It is.
Man.
So, Eric coming to quick thinking as Ariel's getting attacked by the trident instead of like a tentacle, which is, I don't know, that was weird. Winds up driving a ship into Ursula and winds up killing her. Which, again, I'm glad Disney has no problem still showing like death because it's pretty important at this point, to kind of reflect. The spell is broken. The trident goes back to Triton, obviously, and this is where his final moment of growth comes into place, where he says, he really loves her, doesn't she? And she goes, yes, but what are you going to do? Sebastian goes, yes, but what are you going to do? She's a mermaid. And he goes, well, this is definitely a hard decision. This is gonna be a very hard decision. He's all like, decision? He's all like, how much I'm going to miss her. Transforms her into human, permanently. And they go off, get married, and that's the Little Mermaid.
So yeah, that's Little Mermaid. So what are your expectations for the live action movie?
Oh, it's not going to hit anywhere near anywhere as good as that.
What? You know what? This is something that I wouldn't mind seeing and go like scene for scene in. Like I would like that. Like I want to see like that Disney's live action.
Rebel Wilson to play Ursula.
You said who?
Rebel Wilson to play Ursula.
You know what? She would actually probably
She'd be a great Ursula.
Ursula is comedic. Like she's very funny and she has like that funny evil, and then she just can turn like.
But you're just gonna have Emma Stone as the you're gonna have Emma Stone as Ariel.
No.
King Triton. They're just gonna throw in.
I think they've already actually cast Ariel already. I forgot who though. It was
I wouldn't mind old girl from Aquaman.
Mira?
She's
I liked her with red hair. She looked great.
With recent developments, I don't think she'll be working a whole lot coming up. But
agreed, but we will not get into that on the show. We'll talk about it off camera. We'll talk about it off camera.
So let's get into some takeaways. Chelsea, who's getting your That Guy award?
That guy is going to be, Eric. I'm a diehard romantic.
Aww,
I just love how he fought for her.
Aww.
That's my That Guy.
He drove a whole boat.
Well, him and the daddy, because at the end.
Yosemite
Yosemite Sam.
God, stop it!
Who's getting you that chick award?
Ariel.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's who you wanted to represent.
Yeah.
That's who you wanted to be.
All right. This full award.
Ursula.
Really? That's a tough sell for me because I don't think she was a fool at all. She just got arrogant.
You kind of got where she was going with it.
She could have just as well, like, I feel like the reason why she ended up where she was because she got overly greedy and too confident.
Okay, that's fair.
That's why.
Cut that up.
There's nothing. I love this. There's nothing that I feel like that needs to be taken away from it.
It's fair enough.
But that's because I'm a diehard fan.
And iconic scene.
The singing when she lands on the rock, the big wave splash, that's everything to me.
The fin bounces for a second.
That's everything to me. And it's just the way the sun was hitting.
I think that was like the original poster.
I guess we now know what
that will be my next tattoo this year. I'm actually getting a tribute to Little Mermaid.
We know what your wedding photos are going to look like now.
Yes, me splashing on the rock, Jay somewhere in the background, just like, yep, that's my mermaid. I'm a real mermaid.
Hi, I'm the guy.
We'll have some pictures with
I'm the one who's paid for all of this. Thanks.
But we're going to have me
I'm here
on the rock
as well.
with some water in the background and flowers in my hair.
Danger Dave Neff. Who's going to get that guy award?
That guy award is going to go to King Triton. He had a lot of great character development. It's important to kind of see the relation of fathers to their daughters and the importance of kind of seeing, someone breaking out of their own prejudice a little bit and accepting Eric for who he is and granting the daughter's wish, basically.
That chick award.
There's a part of me that really wants to go Ursula here, but I am going to give it to Ariel. Ariel is looks terrific. She is naive in a lot of things, but you kind of expect that when you're 16 years old.
Right.
Daddy, I love him. Yeah, I know. We hear that all the time, and it's like nowadays you hear everybody's like, oh, I don't relate to Ariel at all. Well, yeah, we all did when we were 16 years old. 16 years old, and you're trying to figure out your own emotions and whatnot, and how you want to explore life in that. You got to really take it to her, and the fact that she honestly is pretty heroic for the most part. Like she was always going to do things her way, regardless of what it is, And yeah, I really like that about her.
This full award.
I would probably say I'd probably have to give it to Scuttle. I even though I love him as a character, like he's the comedic relief in every sense.
Cut that out.
Anything that had to deal with Sebastian, actually.
Why are we on the same boat? We're on the same boat.
Okay, when they're at the castle, and he has that whole thing going against the chef and whatnot, like I don't mind it, but it did nothing for me but take me away from the story. You could have cut out that 10 minutes and it felt like the story still would have been just as good.
I agree. I can definitely agree with you on that.
The part of your world, not the rock scene, but when she's actually going up and swimming up to the top of her little cavern and whatnot, and you kind of get that first real artistic shot animation of her, that's amazing. All absolutely right. Amazing. Jay Alonso, who's your That Guy award?
That guy is going to go to King Triton, only because he has the most character development. He's one really with the most prejudice, and he has to really learn how to forgive and accept what's pretty much inevitable, because you can't control what your children do as they get older. And the fact that he does take that in, and he does provide the blessing for Ariel to get married. Once again, we don't necessarily get a solid age on Eric, but Ariel's still 16.
You get the idea. Eric is somewhere in the ballpark range of 18 to probably 25, because it's pretty clear that they're trying to marry him off.
Right.
I think he's 21. I think he had just turned maybe 20.
Which isn't terrible. Mm-mm. But it's still one of those things that that nowadays that I don't think that would fly. By the way,
it definitely would not fly.
They're royalty, so kind of it does end up happening like that sometimes.
By the way, who was Eric supposed to fall for?
The princess of It was a princess that came before that we didn't see that Grimsey told him about, and I just don't know her name.
It's the Princess of Glowerhaven.
Yes.
Okay.
I was
don't know
paying
why
attention.
I was about to say something else.
Okay.
All right, and that chicken word.
That chicken word was gonna go to Ursula, but I'm gonna give it to Ariel because she's our hero in a sense. Rambunctious, but definitely, she's a kid who's exploring just new things and wanting to, didn't want to be shielded by the rules of her father to explore different stuff. So for that, the story has to circle around her. She has a solid team with her, with Flounder and Sebastian, even though I'm with you, so I can pretty much do without Sebastian. But really, I could do without Flounder as well. But they're there to be there.
They needed to make it seem they needed to make it seem that she had friends, and that's fine. Just Also, kudos to Flounder because, like, when she becomes human, he is hustling out there to get her at the right point. So I kind of got to give it to Flounder a little bit because he's an out of shape 12-year-old kid. And he
supports though. He is a supporter though. That's
Flounder's definitely a fat kid.
You know what?
But at 12 years old, he was not going to fail.
Flounder's that one fat kid that you knew in elementary school.
The worst part about it is that the size difference. Ariel is easily 110 pounds. All right,
but Flounder himself is like
Flounder's like 17 pounds, soaking wet, and he is hustling hard to get you that dress and them legs to paddle over because she doesn't know how to swim with human legs.
But wasn't it both of them, Sebastian and Flounder, that took her up?
Sebastian wasn't going to do anything. Sebastian ain't got nothing.
I know. He was just...
Sebastian can't swim.
He kind of just...
Sebastian was taking a sweet time trying to follow her.
I can say right now, Flounder's a fat kid that we all knew from back in the day.
That full award.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to... Sebastian.
All right.
And the reason why is because ultimately, I hate hearing him talk, but ultimately, Sebastian is one of those ones to where, long as he doesn't get in trouble, hey, I'm pretty much letting everything fly.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Because he definitely does go through this whole thing about...
He doesn't want to get fired.
You don't want to get fired, which is like, all right, I get it. That's your... Whatever.
I'm pretty sure if you get fired, you get eaten. So
whatever you get paid.
This is a cutthroat culture. Yeah. There's no other staff, no other security out there. Sebastian's got to be the one to find her.
Yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily call him a sidekick or a confidant, but I just feel as if,
he was there to make sure that nothing else went on. What was other than what was currently going on.
As long as nobody die, my job is done.
Right, cut that out.
Just as long as I get you back and no one dies, we're good.
Cut that out. I'm going to agree with you basically with Sebastian. Which is crazy because my iconic scene is going to be Sebastian too, which is...
That's fine. I mean, anything with Sebastian outside of probably Under the Sea. And you know what? And outside of his songs, how about that? Outside of his 2 songs he has, which is genuinely really good songs, it's kind of whatever. Iconic scene.
Under the Sea. The reason why is because 1, the song literally kicks up out of nowhere. And then 2, if you really listen to the lyrics of the song, it's actually a horrible song because...
it is.
When I forgot the actual bar in it, but he mentioned something about eating fish, and then another fish comes down saying, well, I go from the cell to the plate or something like that.
Right.
But the fish looks so like, this is life. Like, dude. That's horrible.
What's your life? You wake up. It's a dog eat dog world, literally.
I'm pretty sure I
end up on a plate.
If I'm lucky, I'll end up on a plate. No problem.
Like, dude, that sounds horrible.
I try again tomorrow to end up on the plate.
So... The
bird people kind of rule everything. We just kind of
we're just here.
We're people, but we're food.
Try some set. I might get eaten today.
I'm being.
I might be eaten today.
That's my ruler. He just kind of decides if I'm not going to be eaten right now.
I kind of just to go bad and die.
So
therefore, I'm not healthy.
I just hope I outlive my existence and nutritious value.
All right, so let's knock out some quick hits. All right, quick hits. In the opening scene, when King Triton arrives at the arena, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, and Kermit the Frog can be briefly seen in the crowd of sea people as mermen when he passes over them.
Yep.
Which I thought that was odd. I thought I was tripping when I was like, that Mickey Mouse?
Nope. They put him somewhere almost almost
Disney.
in every
Yeah.
Disney.
The Mouse House. Originally, Sebastian was to have an English accent. It was lyricist producer Howard Ashman who suggested that he speak with a Caribbean accent. This opened the door to Calypso-style numbers like Under the Sea, which won the Academy Award.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right. It's possible that Prince Eric could be related to Prince Philip and Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. In the dining room in Ariel's castle on Ariel's first evening on land, there is a painting hanging on the wall. The couple bear a striking resemblance to Aurora and Philip.
Nice. Go ahead.
Christopher Daniel Barnes was only 16 years old when he recorded his voice for Prince Eric. The producers felt his voice sounded much older than he really was.
Dope. Good.
All right. Ariel was quite deliberately made a redhead in order to distinguish her from Daryl Hannah's character in Splash.
Yes. I remember that.
All right.
That's an underrated movie. Go ahead.
It is a very much underrated movie. This was the first Disney film to receive an Academy Award since Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Nice.
1971. Though other films have been nominated.
Right. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like Bedknobs and Broomsticks comes out 1971. Who remembers that?
I wasn't even existing or thought of.
Yeah, I definitely even thought about it yet.
All right.
It's an interesting one. Jim Carrey auditioned for the role of Prince Eric.
Ooh, okay. Don't see that, but go ahead.
And let me do one more. Ariel is the first Disney princess to have biological siblings.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, those are all her sisters.
Yeah.
Same daddy.
Yeah.
Same mama.
She's the first.
She's the first.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say the next one I believe would be what's the lady with the red hair with the bears? Her brothers turned in her was it her brothers? Brave. Got it. There you go.
I never seen it, but you were like the lady with the red hair with the bears, and I'm like,
with bears and the big hair.
Like Brave.
I love that movie. That movie was actually really good. I like Brave. She's an Irish princess, I think. Well, she's not even a princess.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not even gonna get into that.
Well, that is the show. Not a bad one. We definitely took it back to our childhood youths. Now, want to thank our special guest, my lady, Miss Chelsea. Let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Rockin'ThemJs, as well as Twitter, Facebook. Chelsea Lowena Baker. Full name, government out there.
Okay. Nobody's looking for you.
Huh?
Nobody's looking for you.
I don't think anybody's looking for me, but if they are, I mean, I'm here. If
you part of the whole government.
Yeah.
I mean, FBI, where you at?
Hey,
Danger Neff, where can they find you?
You can always find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at David Danger Neff. I'm the co-host here at Back to the Classics. I'm also the co-host for Reel It Back whenever we decide to reel that one back. We're figuring that one out. You can always find me on there. I do some articles out there. We are in the process of trying out some new things, so we'll see where everything kind of goes. But yeah, my co-host, Jay Alonso, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media. Simply at I am Jay Alonso. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. You talk to me and I'll talk back. Like Dave said, we are trying some new things. The new Beat Network online website is up, and it's glorious.
It is beautiful.
Jump on that. Take a look at that. You have all of our bios on there and links to all the shows. Shout out to the whole Beat Network family. Of course, the Back to the Classics movie talk group on Facebook is up and popping. Go ahead and jump on there and join it. Lately, that thing's been fun.
It is.
We've been getting some good stuff. And then, of course, Chelsea now does the quotes of the day. So thank you for that.
That's a lot of fun. Thank you for that.
A lot of fun, even though there's movies that we like. I've never heard of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Never heard of that at all.
Every day is a new surprise.
But of course, our social media challenge is still going. Kicking off the new one for this month, and of course, we have a bunch of new content coming your way on Beat Network. Me and Dave working on some new talent, some new content as well. You may see some new faces around here with the Beat crew, so that's always a dope thing. With that being said, not a bad episode.
No, it was fun.
Dave has to go be a coach now.
Yeah. I got a game in like less than an hour.
No. With that being said, once again, big shout out to our special guest today, Chelsea Baker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. BTTC. We have a guest on next week as well. See you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.